Okay, sit yourself onto the lift and then come into a good cross-legged position, and then find a good cross-legged position where the seat bones feel level. Just have a little wriggle about, just feel that your seat bones are evenly placed. Seat bones feel evenly positioned, and then hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Feel your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Consciously fill your lungs from the bottom to the top and empty them from the top to the bottom. Feel that you breathe evenly into both lungs and evenly out of both lungs. Keep your eyes still in the sockets, looking at something on the floor that doesn't move, so that your eyes still stay entirely still in the sockets. And then release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Push the palms firmly together and lengthen your armpits into your elbows into the heels of your hands. The heels of your hands into the fingertips. And with an exhalation, gently allow your eyes to softly close. Continuing to fill your lungs from the bottom to the top like you're filling a jug with water. And emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom in the way that you would empty a jug from the top to the bottom. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then very gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Just bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. Gently raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Feel that you can elevate the heart area. So when I talk about the heart area, I know the heart is kind of slightly to one side, but it's the center of the chest, but in like where the heart is. So lift that up to the ceiling so that you almost leave the you kind of lengthen the abdomen. Hold onto your knees and consciously draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation, deep exhalation, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying them from the top to the bottom, breathing in and out through the nose if you can. Take a deep inhalation, and with the exhalation, turn to the right side. Draw your abdomen across. Draw your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. Turning the abdomen and the ribs and the shoulders, but not the neck. Just look forwards. Have the chin in line with the collarbone rather than looking over the shoulder. Use each subsequent exhalation to turn a little more deeply into the pose. Drawing your abdomen across, your ribs and your shoulders. Soften your jaw. Draw the lower teeth away from the upper teeth. Soften the tongue in your mouth. Keep turning with the out breath. Observing your body's resistance, but also observing the body's freedom in other places. Distributing your attention between the two. Come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Drawing the abdomen across, the ribs across, the shoulders, but not the neck. Observing where the body resists the turn and acknowledging that, but then drawing your attention beyond the resistance into other areas of the body that present little or no resistance. And divide your attention between the two. And the perception of that resistance changes. Use the exhalation to intensify the turn, but always working with sensitivity. Never going too far, never pushing too hard, but never being too slack. Finding that level of effortless effort. Come back to the center. Come back to the center and then sit back on your heels. Sit directly back on your heels. Have the big toes together and your knees apart. And then get the backs of the knees away, the back tops of the calves away from the backs of the knees with your thumbs. Roll the calf flesh out to the side and then sit yourself back on your heels. Lift up into the chest, elevating the heart area up to the ceiling, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Spend a few moments just observing your breath, feeling that you can fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. Empty your lungs from the top to the bottom. As you inhale, you breathe into both lungs evenly and you feel the chest expand upwards and outwards. As you exhale, you breathe out from the top of the lungs to the bottom and you feel the chest relax. Consciously push your shins into the floor. Push the shin bone into the floor. Press the shin bone into the shin skin so that the thighs activate. And then elevate the heart area upwards. Keep the back straight. Walk your hands forwards in front. Spread the fingers. Keep the head lifted as you come forwards. Keeping the seat bones down on the heels. Have your knees as wide apart as you need them so that you can bring the abdomen through. Keep the head lifted initially. Keep the seat bones down on the heels, and then bring the forehead down. If you lose contact between the seat bones and the heels, if there's any resistance in coming forwards, so this pose is usually all right for a back, then if there's any resistance, then put a block underneath your head. If the seat bones and the heels are miles apart, then put a block between the seat bones and the heels. Spread the palms. Hit the seat bones down on the heels. Lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up into a seated position. And then we're going to go into dog down. If you don't do dog down, you can do dandasana instead. So sitting along with the legs outstretched, lifting up into the chest. Otherwise, come up onto all fours. Have the little fingers on the edge of the mat. Stretch the thumbs towards each other. Step back a little. Turn your toes under. Have your feet as wide apart as the mat. And then push your hands into the floor, straight, or keep your knees bent initially, and elevate the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Elevate the tailbone to the ceiling, and then start to straighten the legs, tightening the kneecaps. Pressing the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Lift the fronts of the thighs up, and then push the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. So you can do the same action with dandasana, and in dandasana you elevate from the hips into the armpits, which we do in dog down as well. Stretch the arms out. So you can either at your side in dandasana, or you can raise them over your head. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Turn the fronts of your thighs inwards, so that the heels start to separate. If I'm holding you too long in the pose, then just rest. But if you can stay and maintain the pose, then do. Keep breathing from the bottom of the lungs to the top. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Breathing into both lungs evenly. Spend a moment observing your physical pose from the inside, how it feels on the inside. If there is tension perhaps in your shoulders, then work the legs more determinedly. And then step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then get a couple of blocks for your hands for half uttanasana. Bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. So Jill, just to let you know, I can't really see you, I can only see your ceiling. You won't appear on the video though, so don't worry. You're on the recording, you won't appear on the recording because your sound is muted. So if I could just see you, just to make sure that I know what you've passed out or something. Have your feet as wide apart as your mat. So feel that your heels are in contact with the edge of the mat. Feel that the little toes are in contact with the edge of the mat. Even if the heels kind of overlap slightly, just make sure that you can feel the edge of the mat with your feet, with the outside edge of your feet. Bring your hands into your hips. Tighten your kneecaps. Tighten your kneecaps and turn the fronts of the thighs really consciously inwards. It gives you space in the hips. And then elevate the heart area up to the ceiling, wing your elbows towards the wall behind you. Lift up into the chest, keep the head lifted and then come forwards, hinging at the hips. And then reach down and find the blocks. You can always use like a coffee table or something like that if you don't have blocks, or the seat of a chair. Push the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Lift the thigh muscles up all the way to the top of the leg and turn really consciously the thigh muscles inwards so that the inner knees rotate to the back of the room, so that you feel the backs of the legs broadening outwards, and then pick up the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs and project the chin and the chest forwards. So if you've got a bad back, it's a good idea to stay higher, although your back is gonna, you're the best judge of your back often, but if you've got a stiff back, then this is often better to stay higher. But if it feels okay, you can bring the blocks a little lower, but don't go all the way down to the floor straight away. Come to the lower blocks if you are, and then reassess the legs, rework the legs, re-extend the spine. If you can reach the floor, then do, but not at the expense of this. We don't want rounded backs and bent knees. We want straight legs, straight back. If going down lower aggravates that, if you can't keep your legs straight, if you can't keep your back straight, if you can't keep your head lifted, then go back to the blocks. Keep turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that you can pick up the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into a standing position. Just be in the centre of your mat. I have to be to one side a little bit because of the shape of my room, but just be in the middle of your mat. The inner edge of your feet together, lift up into the chest. So have the big toes touching, the heels touching, feel that they're in contact with each other. Tighten the kneecaps. Turn the fronts of the thighs consciously inwards. Now, sometimes that is an action that's kind of easier said than done, isn't it? So everyone, bend your knees, clamp the knees together, and then try and straighten your legs, but keeping your knees together. It will make you turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Just do it a couple of times. Clamp the knees together and then straighten the legs and try and keep the knees together. You won't be able to keep them together, but it will help you to feel this action of turning the legs inwards. Tuck the tailbone in. Turning the legs inwards really frees up space in the hips. Tuck the tailbone in without disturbing the legs. Lift the abdomen up to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. Draw the shoulders away from your ears, lengthen into the fingertips. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide, in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet nice and wide. So go nice and wide with your legs. So a little wider, Jill, if you can. So nice and wide with the legs. Just as wide as you can. And then straighten the legs, tighten the kneecaps, lift up into the chest. Turn the left toes in slightly and the right leg and foot all the way out. So I'm bending my knee to do that. So that just gives you that access to turn the leg outwards. So it's the opposite direction to tadasana. Turn the leg from the big toe side to the little toe side. So get hold of that thigh. You can relax the other hand. Get hold of that thigh and rotate the thigh from the big toe side to the little toe side of the leg. Do the same with the other leg. Turn that out. So we're turning the legs out. Lift up into the chest, stretch out into the arms. Take a deep in breath. And then reach down, find the shin. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling, reach up. So T to trikonasana, straight legs, tightening the kneecaps, turning the fronts of the thighs outwards this time. So it's the opposite of tadasana. Turn the abdomen and the chest up to the ceiling. Look up. One of the really nice side effects of this pose is that it clears out the sinuses. So maybe breathe in through the nose a little bit more easily. It's only on the right side for the moment. We'll address the left side in a moment. But keep the legs straight, keep the kneecaps tightened, especially of that back leg. And then reach up with the top leg, come back to the centre, and then swap the feet around. Bring the feet to face the front, and then turn the right toes in a little, and the left leg and foot all the way out. Just rest your hands for a second. Just make sure that the heel of this left leg is in line with the instep of the back. What people always tend to want to do is bring this heel in line with that heel. But that makes you want to do this. It makes you want to turn the hips in the wrong direction. So this heel needs to line up with the instep or the toes. If you've got a stiff hip, you can come forwards, go even beyond the toes, just to give you space in the hips. Otherwise, heel on instep. Tighten the kneecaps. And again, turn these legs outwards. But with a real focus on this front leg, turn the inner knee across the top of the knee towards the outer knee. Lift up into the chest. Bring the chest to face the front. Stretch your arms out. Take a deep inhalation and then extend over to the left side. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling. Keep the legs straight. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe you feel that the sinus is clear on that left side. Reach up to the top arm as much as you kind of collapse down onto that leg. So reach up, not down. Well, up and down, but not collapsing down. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Remembering, if I hold you in the pose for too long, then just come out of the pose. It's not supposed to be torture. Okay, reach up with the top hand, come back to the centre, bring your feet parallel. And then step or jump your feet back together. And then come back into tadasana. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel the energy in the chest. Feel the energy in the hips and in the legs. Just listening to the breath. Tighten the kneecaps and turn the legs inwards. So there's a lot of leg rotation, isn't there? Especially in these standing poses. Turn the legs inwards. Tuck the tailbone in, lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Stretch your arms forwards, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the hands, turn the palms all the way out. Squeeze the outer elbows in and then raise your arms up to the ceiling, press the palms to the sky. Lift your toes, so lift the toes off the floor so that you really activate the legs. Feel that your balance draws you into the heels, so hit the shins back so that your weight goes into the heels, not into the fronts of the feet. Squeeze the outer elbows in. Push the heels down to the floor and push the hands up to the ceiling. And then gently release, just soften the legs for a moment. And then swap the interlock of the fingers. So the index finger that's on the top, just swap it around so that the other index finger is on the top of the stack. Turn the palms all the way out, squeeze the outer elbows in, tighten the kneecaps, and then raise your arms over your head. Baddangulyasana. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, tuck the tailbone in, draw the belly button to the spine. Lift from the abdomen into the diaphragm, into the collarbone. Keep the shoulders away from your ears, but push the hands up to the ceiling. And then gently release your arms and then come back into tadasana, keeping the legs tightened, keeping the kneecaps tightened. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide in toward your chest, and then step or jump your feet apart nice and wide. So just have your hands on your hips for a moment, and then I want you to turn your toes in as steeply as you can. So turn the left toes in steeply, and then rotate on the other foot, rotate the right leg all the way out. Now this time we don't want the hips to face this way, in which case you turn the legs outwards. We want the hips to face towards that front leg. So you do that tadasana action. You turn the legs consciously inwards. Now you probably get a bit stuck. This back leg hip probably is stuck. So what you can do is lift up the heel of the back foot and turn that heel all the way out. So turn it all the way out. Bring the heel down to the floor if you can. And then turn the fronts of the legs inwards. It's tadasana legs this time. So that helps you to bring the hips level. Bring your hands onto your hips and lift from the abdomen up to the diaphragm, up to the collarbone. Raise your arms up to the ceiling. Keep that back leg straight and bend the front knee. Find a right angle. You might have to creep the leg away like I'm doing to find the right distance. Find a right angle. Keep that back leg straight. Lift up into the hands, up into the little finger side of the hands. Find your right angle. You can bring your arms out to the side if you lose your balance. Find that right angle. Keep the back leg straight. Lift up into the chest. So bend that knee a little more. Really bend the knee. Find a right angle. You should be able to put your dinner plate on the thigh, and your sausages and peas should stay on the plate. Okay, straighten the front leg. Come back to the centre. Release your arms. And then from there, turn the right legs in, the right toes in even, and rotate on the left leg. Again, pick up the heel of that back leg and turn the heel all the way out so that your hips can come level. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. So this time the heels are in line with each other because we're turning the hips. If you find that you kind of wobble in this pose, you can bring that left foot out to the left a little more, so you kind of go wider than heels apart. So straight legs at this stage, especially that back leg, tighten the kneecap, really focus on that back leg. Bring the hips to face that left leg. So bring the hips around. This back leg hip, turn it forwards by rotating the front of the leg inwards. Raise the arms up, bend the knee, keep creeping that leg away until you find your right angle. Keep the back leg straight. Reach up, virabhadrasana, the warrior pose. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Listening to the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Find that right angle. Keep the back leg straight, tightened at the kneecap. Reaching from the hips up into the armpits, into the elbows, the wrists, the palms, the fingers, the fingertips, the fingernails. Okay, straighten the leg, come back to the front, and then step or jump the feet back together. And then come back into tadasana. Observe how your energy feels, how you've lifted your energy in the chest and in the shoulders and in the arms and in the hips and the legs. Maybe your breath feels a little staggered. So just use this time to bring your breath back to normal. Turn the palms all the way out. Rotate the whole of the arm. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, just come down onto your knees and just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just observe how the body is feeling right now. Just sit back on your heels and lift up into the chest. Have the knees nice and wide apart. Again, press the shin bones into the shin skin. Lift up into the chest and then hinge at the hips. Come forwards, hinging at the hips into Adho Mukha virasana. Pushing the heels, the seat bones down onto the heels. Keeping the head lifted initially. Stretching your arms away. And then finally bringing your forehead down. But keep the seat bones down on the heels. That's a priority. So have a block underneath your head if bringing the head down makes you lose company with the heels. Okay, then bring your hands underneath your shoulders and push yourself up. Just push yourself back onto your heels. Lift up into the chest. Drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying them from the top to the bottom. Just observe your energy. Listen to the breath. Okay, just sit yourself in cross legs. Now you might need to sit on a lift for cross legs, and if you do, then just sit on the same lift that you sat on at the beginning of the session. So you can do half padmasana if that's possible, but if it creates problems for your knees, don't stay in half padmasana. Do just normal cross legs. If you sit in cross legs and your knees are really high like this, and it makes you roll back and it makes you round your back, and it's really hard to straighten your back. So if knees are really high in cross legs, then sit on a lift, and you'll be able to bring your knees down lower. So just hold onto your knees. Hold onto your knees and elevate the heart area upwards. Draw the shoulders consciously away from your ears. Look down at the floor. Look at something that doesn't move. Just focusing on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. from the bottom to the top. Emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Lift the chest up to make contact with the chin. Jalandhara Bandha. And then we can incorporate Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is where we lift the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region. So either towards the belly button or up towards the diaphragm, underneath the lungs. And then just continue to focus on filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Filling your lungs from the bottom to the top and allowing the energy of that breath to overflow the top of the lungs and into the arms and the chest and the legs. In yoga, breath is energy. So if we can breathe non-resistantly, then the body absorbs the energy of the breath more efficiently. So there are many reasons why the breath might be resistant. It can just be that you're not used to breathing fully. Or it can be tension or anxiety. Sometimes those create tension around the chest and it's difficult to take deep inhalations. So if that's the case, then soften the muscles as you inhale. Soften the intercostal muscles between the ribs as you inhale, allowing them to expand and allowing them to contract with the out-breath. Just maintaining Mula Bandha and Jalandhara Bandha. And with an out breath, release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then just raise your head, look forwards. Just observe the energy around the shoulders and around the rib cage. Just listen to the breath. And then just stretch your legs out in front for a moment. Just stretch them out. At this stage, observe whether you can, whether it's possible to roll onto the front edge of the seat bones or whether you sink on the back edge of the seat bones. So have the hands at the sides of the hips and activate the legs like you're in tadasana. Have the big toes together, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the legs inwards, and then try and roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. If you struggle to do that, then sit on a lift. So sit on the same lift as you were sitting on for cross legs. And then we're going to bring the legs wide for upavistha konasana. So for this, you'll need a couple of blocks. If you've got a belt handy, then grab a belt. If you don't have a belt, don't worry. You can just use a block instead. Just have that. If you've got a belt though, have that out in front. Just roll over and move the buttock flesh out to the side so that you are sitting right on the front edge of the seat bones. Have the hands at the sides of the hips and then really reactivate the legs. Tighten the kneecaps. Draw the fronts of the thighs up towards the tops of the legs. And just like in tadasana, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. So you're trying to turn from the little toe towards the big toe. Trying to turn the inner knee down towards the floor. Lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just reach forward to get your belt. If you haven't got a belt, you can just use a block like this, and then you're going to raise it over your head. If you've got the belt, then use the belt. You can go a little wider with the belt potentially, and then raise your arms over your head and pull firmly on the block or on the belt. Keep your arms straight. Roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Keep the legs firmly activated. Tighten the kneecaps. Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the legs and turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Raise your arms up. You can go wider with the belt if it's difficult to straighten your arms. Keep the head looking forwards. Try not to drop your head down. Just look forwards with the head. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then just release your arms. Bring your hands to the sides of the body. Feel the energy around the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So we're going to come forwards. But if you've got a bad back, you probably, just feel it for yourself. But chances are, coming forwards can be a little bit strong for a stiff back. So if that's the case, then you can either just raise your arms over your head again and do that, or you can just stay at this stage and lift up into the chest. Otherwise, get the blocks and have them in front of you like this. And then press the fingertips onto the blocks. Activate the legs like you were doing in tadasana. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, tightening the kneecaps. And then just a little bit at a time, you can walk the blocks forwards, pressing the fingertips onto the blocks, and then lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. So we're lifting the front of the chest, front of the torso upwards. Keep the head lifted. So coming forwards just a little bit at a time, keeping those legs firmly activated, pressing the legs into the floor, lift up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, so you can keep coming forwards, but with a straight back. Just feel how this pose is working for you today. So you can come all the way down, or just stay at the stage where it feels comfortable and safe, but keep the head lifted. Try not to drop your head. All the time drawing the chin forwards. Forward bends aren't about finding the floor with your head. It's about finding the floor with your chest first. Okay, come back to the centre. And then get hold of the backs of the knees and bring the feet in for baddangulyasana. Hold onto the big toes. And then lift up into the chest. Feel how there's energy around the hips and the legs, and energy in the chest. Roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Lift the abdomen up to the diaphragm, up to the collarbone, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. And then just gently bring the legs back into swastikasana, into cross legs. Holding onto your knees, lifting up into the chest and drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, digging the back hand firmly into the floor so that you roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Draw the abdomen across and the ribs and the shoulders, but don't do the pose with your neck, just look forwards. Turn the abdomen, try and get your belly button to point at that right knee and beyond it. And then come back to the centre. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, and then turn to the left. And then very gently come back to the centre. Just come down onto your back into supta, baddangulyasana. So come down onto your back, have the feet close to the seat bones, as close as you can get them. Let the knees fall apart. If this is stiff in your hips, you can put some blocks on the outsides of your thighs. Otherwise, just rest your hands on your lower ribs and allow your body to release into the floor. If your head rolls back, you can put a blanket or a block underneath your head. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just listen to the sound of the in-breath, the sound of the out-breath. Let the breath be soft but complete. Feel the lungs from the bottom to the top, feeling how the chest expands to accommodate the breath. Feel the chest relax with the out-breath. If you've got your hands on your lower ribs, you'll feel the chest expand with the in-breath. Just for a moment, stretch your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms along the floor. If there is stiffness in your shoulders, you can put a block or a folded blanket underneath your hands just to support the shoulders, otherwise use the floor. Squeezing the outer elbows in, pushing the palms away from the head. Just release your arms, swap the interlock of the fingers. Turn the palms all the way out again and then extend your arms along the floor. Squeezing the outer elbows in, push shoulders away from the ears. Lengthening the hands away from the shoulders. So there's many juxtapositions in yoga. So what helps us to recognize the stretch. When we recognise where we're stretching from, if you understand the root of an extension, it becomes deeper, more grounded. And then release your arms, just rest your hands on your lower ribs. And then draw your knees together, have your knees together and your feet apart for a moment. Just rest in your hips and then pull your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle Massage on the spine. And then roll onto your right side, sit yourself up. And then just for the last couple of minutes, get a folded blanket or a cushion for underneath your head. Just lay yourself out in a really good straight line right down the centre of your mat. And then allow the body to release, let the legs fall apart, let the hands, the backs of the hands rest on the floor, palms facing upwards. Consciously unhook the muscles of the arms and the legs. Allow the physical body to become heavy. And letting the body become heavy is an important stage of the pose, because when the body becomes heavy, perhaps you observe that feeling of irrepressible, energetic lightness that radiates from the bones and into the muscles. That lightness of positive energy radiating from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs. Feeling that energy radiate from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs, including the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes and into the fingers and all the way up into the top of the head. Legs and the arms and the torso with that positive energy, and then raising that energy into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of positive energy. To disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. And then bend your knees, bring your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into seated position. Come into cross legs with your hands in the masti. Just a final spinal lift. Close your eyes and draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. People, to places, to things that need our positive energy. And then gently release the backs of your hands down toward your knees. Palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've really given yourself a good stretch and you've released lots of good positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.